Oh, there's a lot.
Good evening, friends. On behalf of the National University of Singapore Society, welcome to this evening's art dialogue with Mr. Poh Siew Wah. The NUS has been staging art exhibitions for 8 years now, and we're very proud to have hosted shows by cultural medallion winners like Goh Beng Kwan, Cheng Siok Tin, as well as by young artists from the 3 art colleges, from LaSalle, NAFA, and SOTA. The current show is Journey Plus by Poh Siew Wah, and it runs till early January. So please drop by and look at it if you haven't done so. Before I introduce the moderator and interviewer, some housekeeping rules. Please keep your microphones muted, but please leave your video on because we'd like to see your faces as we talk. Okay, the Victor. Victor and I were classmates in the late 60s. I studied sociology, he studied geography, which I thought was useless and uninteresting. But now today I know that as long as you stand on 1 square meter of space anywhere in the world, you have to know some geography. Victor was a very illustrious academic in NUS. He was head of geography department. He was director of OAR. And currently he's the adjunct senior fellow at the S. Rajaratnam Institute of International Studies. And he's just launched a beautiful book called Lion City Narratives, where he has examined and analyzed perspectives of Singapore from our colonial administrators. So please get a copy from World Scientific if you have not. There's a blurb for Victor, okay? I shall now turn the mic over to Victor. He will interrogate Siew Wah for an hour on his exhibition, his art practice. And after an hour, we will open the floor to you, and you can ask questions either by speaking into the microphone or by typing into the chat box, okay? So please turn on the microphones, you're all off, so we can see your faces and enjoy the conversation.
Thank you very much, Juliana, and welcome everybody to this particular Zoom meeting that I'm having with Poh Siew Wah. Siew Wah has been an old schoolmate of mine. I've known him for 55 years, mind you, but we don't look that old, I think. But we have been around for a long time. And he's had an interesting journey in art, actually. He was a school art teacher in JC as well for many years. And then after that, he was actually exhibiting works of art even while he was a school teacher. Then he took off as a professional artist, as it were, and he's had many exhibitions, and many of his works are now in Germany, in China, in Thailand, and in South Korea. So he's been quite an interesting artist. Not one of those luminary Singapore artists that you hear of, but he's been a quiet artist with a passion for art, and really has helped to develop his own craft and interest in art, as it were. And he's been doing all the different mediums in art: acrylic, oil, watercolors, and he's obviously got very many themes that he's been interested in. Many of them are Singapore based, but his abstract works are very interesting, very colorful. And we're going to take you to this conversation in which we'll get to know Siew Wah better, and what's behind all his art. So I hope you'll keep in mind the questions that you would like to ask in addition to what I will be asking him. I want to start off with Siew Wah with, I guess, the genesis of his art interest. So, may Siew Wah, how did you become interested in art? That's my first question.
I think as a young child in the primary school, I was really interested in art in the primary one, right? So, and probably because my father was also an artist. I mean, he did some kind of, he's a commercial artist, right? Painting the signboards and so forth. So I think I got kind of a gene from him that's why I was interested in art. I could do some better drawings from the rest of the primary school cohort at the time. Yeah.
And in the early years, what really inspired you in art? Was there anything that you really were inspired as a young child in school?
Oh, in school, I think the most significant inspiration or something that moved me into painting was with my secondary school art teachers, right? Who actually opened the road for actually many of our art students, very good art teachers, and they brought us out to visit the exhibition, brought us for outdoor paintings and so forth. I think it's important to have a good art teachers who can actually inspire and encourage the students. Yeah.
I think I guess we were fortunate. We had Nama Sivayam, who became a very important figure artist. I think he taught you, did he, in art?
Yeah, I think Nama Sivayam is one of the art teachers when he was in secondary school, secondary two. He was the one pushing everybody to paint. Yeah. Paints and paints and paint. There they use paints and slapping our back if we do some sort of a very finicky work. Yeah. So I think he was trained overseas. So I think he brings back his experience, and actually motivate and push a lot of, not only me, I think there are other students who actually later on become quite well known in art too. Yeah. And not forgetting Victor. Victor has been I know Victor has been walking around the school looking at my painting we were doing in school, and actually he's one of the rare students who were actually, you are not in the art stream, but you were very interested in art. Yeah.
Yeah. May I just turn attention now to the local art scene? I mean, we've had many generations of local artists, and how would you classify as what generation would you see yourself in the Singapore art scene? We were at the first generation, the Georgette Chens and the Chong Su Pings and all that. Where do you fit? Which are the people that you have come up with?
I actually cannot define myself, but I had an exhibition organized by Nanyang Academy before, where there are a few of the artists chosen by the curator and put us as a second generation artist. But I think we straddle between the second generation and third generation, not really close to the first generation.
Yeah. So you consider your in this transition between the different generations, which of the local artists do you think inspired you in your art? Were there any that inspired you?
Yes, of course. I think the most artists that I really like and I think inspire a lot of artists too, I think is Chong Su Ping. No? Chong Su Ping is I think he's very versatile. He does Chinese ink drawing, painting, and oil, and sculptures, murals, and even go into the abstract form. So, yeah. So, yeah, I think he really is one of the. I think I would put him as one of the artists that really inspire many generation of artists later on when he taught at the Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts at the time. Yeah.
You are one of the, I guess, few artists, professional artists that were lucky in the sense that you had a career in teaching, and I think that helps a lot. Your bread and butter was taken care of. Would you agree?
Definitely, I agree on that. Because at that time, artists don't easily make a living just selling art pieces. I think that's why I go into teaching, and I sort of wanted to go into art, teaching art, so I can go on with my teaching art, and also probably, go into my interest in art, doing exhibitions and doing art activities. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you recall which painting you first sold, in a commercial way?
Oh, the painting commercial way is not in a gallery.
Yeah.
But that painting was, my first painting was exhibited in the public art exhibition in the Singapore Art Society. When I was 15 years old, I was still in secondary school, secondary 3, I remember. That painting, I think, was done on the spot at the Tanjong Rhu. Tanjong Rhu, but Tanjong Rhu, last time they had a lot of boats coming from Indonesia, and they're bringing charcoals and doing barter trading. So one of the art teachers, Yong Asu, Mr. Yong Asu, he brought us a few of our art students there to do some outdoor painting, and I think he actually during the weekend he brought us and supply us with art materials and do painting on the spot. I think, and that painting later on was submitted. He encouraged me, or he helped me to submit to the Art Society, and he was medically selected to exhibit with all the well-known local artists, contemporary artists at the time. So I think they didn't know my age, so I don't know. They don't know me. So I was a bit I don't know whether I was lucky or anything, but they accepted my painting. Yeah. And later on, the painting was bought by one of our art teachers in Gan Eng Seng Secondary School. Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You had such an early, now, you also one of those that I know I've been interviewing different artists, and I don't see you as an artist that either studied art at LAFA or studied art at LaSalle. So how did you actually learn your trade in art? What was it that gave you? Most of the artists that I've interviewed have either been students of LaSalle or NAFA.
So I think I would say that I'm more of a self-taught artist. No,
Yeah.
I observe, I go to exhibition. Actually, they inspire me. And I came back, I mean, I come home and bought some oil and so forth, and I did myself and practice myself and I practice painting myself, without actually knowing how to do oil painting. But I just saw those kind of work and I come back and just experimented with it, and and I find I could make it quite successful in making some kind of oil painting, which also I think there were friends who bought from me too. Yeah. So I don't actually have gone to any art school. So I just did from observation and inspiration from what I see at exhibition. Yeah.
As someone who has been in the local art scene for the last 50 years, what do you think are your impressions of the local art scene? Is it something that you feel it has been going through a change and maturity, or you do see it as something that has stagnated, or what are your impressions?
For me, I'm talking about myself, right? Because I'm talking about myself, I think there are many artists in Singapore, but some are quite traditional. They like to keep to their own traditional style of painting, and some actually does move and some changes. Right? They change, but for me, I think I am changed in quite a abstract way, right? Quite different from some artists. From representation, objective painting, I turn into abstraction, which is non-objective, which I find not many Singapore artists actually goes into it. Yeah, yeah. That's what my own feeling is. But I mean, I don't sort of think that being stay to traditional work is no good. But I think it depends on the individual artist, their outlook itself. But some of them do produce very good work. But for me, I think I feel that I need a change as I progress. So I change, Yeah.
How do you think being a citizen of Singapore, which is a cross-cultural city with many influences from different civilizations, so how do you feel? Has your art been a sort of product of Eastern and Western, art fusion? Do you see that as happening? Because now you say you're into abstract art and things like that. How do you see the relationship between Western and obviously Chinese traditional art?
I mean, we are in a very multicultural society, and exposed to different kind of multicultural input from what I call festivals and so forth. In the early days, we just concentrate painting things which are connected to what we see, right? What we see in the Indian culture, Malay culture, Chinese culture. But later on, I find that especially when I go to abstraction, at first it was, I was more trained in more kind of a Western, in the direction of Western art. So my abstract was more Western. But later on, I find that as a ethnically, I'm a Chinese, so I find that I need to put something that is more connected to my Chinese roots, So I actually put some kind of Chinese elements and Western element into my work. Yeah. So in that way, I blend the Eastern and Western style on approach in my painting. So that's why I feel I would like to be, because I think in Eastern, especially the Eastern philosophy and Western philosophy, there's a kind of a affinity, although they may be different, but actually you study them, you read them, you find that there's a lot of closeness in maybe in the thoughts and in the way they view things.
Well, dealing with the Western side of the art influencer, do you feel that there's any particular school or any particular Western artist that has been influential in your development of your art? And who would you name? Who are the artists that you would name? Either contemporary or artists that have passed away.
Yeah, I think that's a very important question, because that artist actually turns me on into doing abstract work is Wassily Kandinsky, right? He was actually an artist, Russian artist who resided in Munich, right? And he was one who thinks that doing abstract work actually is more meaningful, bringing up the artist's spiritual feeling and expressing himself, his soul and his inner feeling into his work, right? Because I think he was the one who discovered that representative printing actually obstruct people's real intention of the artist's intention of expressing something that's invisible. So he actually turned into abstraction, but he was more connected to his music and colors and so forth. But he was the one who actually, I read some of his books, and especially concerning the spiritual and art, in which he extolled the beauty of the abstract work. Yeah.
Okay. When we come back to Kandinsky and the abstract art that you're talking about. But I'd just like to know, do you think that from the local point of view, are there any social and cultural issues that have been important in your expression or your interpretation of art themes that you have dealt with?
I think in the social context, actually, it's a universal context too. I think my work is actually based on balance and harmony, which is the concept of equilibrium, which I think what we're experiencing now, like climate changes and the repercussion, is actually because of the imbalance that we have created in our universe, our society, that causes this kind of consequences that we need to rectify. I think so. I'm actually very concerned about nature and environment. So in my work, I think I express my desire for everything to be in, not actually perfect, but to walk the middle road, just as the Chinese philosopher of Taoist philosophy who wrote about the Tao Te Ching, right? And we got to take the middle road to make sure that we don't overstep in any direction. So we have the yin and yang. So the vertical and horizontal create a balance. And if you can create a balance, not too much, not too little. So I think we will be living in a better world.
Besides that philosophical kind of representation, you know that many of the Indonesian, Thai, and Philippine artists tend to be great interpreters of political issues of the day. Or they are big critics of the political state of their country. Did anything, in the political ecosystem of Singapore have an impact on you? Did you find that you had to express something as a commentator of what is happening around you?
I don't go into the political arena.
Yeah.
So I'm more going into kind of a universal ideas. I think there's a lot of political things I think is not very. I don't feel that I should need to put politics into art itself. So if it's concerning about universal things, right, and especially environment, I think is also part of it is universally political issues. So I don't go into real political issues that I think I have to sidestep that. Yeah.
I mean, in the local scene, I mean, you've tried to stay away from commentating about the art scene, but is it because you don't sort of immerse yourself with local artists? Are you very much a loner in art that you don't discuss or talk about things? So you have not tried to comment, let's say, on the local art scene. That's very politically correct. Maybe I don't know, but that's funny. That is there anything that you feel that has the political has the art scene in Singapore stagnated? Do you think it's growing? And is it dynamic? What are your impressions of it?
I'm more of a. I'm quite reclusive. No, I don't actually mix around much, and I do a lot of self-taught, self-thinking. Reading and thinking about what's happening in our country or in the whole world. But I keep a lot of things to myself unless I need to. I think but I'm quite a quiet person.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
That's what we're trying to.
I think I read and I read and I study them, because without reading all those writings and knowing what's happening, I think the artist would be kind of you don't feel alive. You be doing something that is not connected to the world, not to what's happening. Yeah.
Okay. Siew Wah, I'm going to turn now to something different, and that is the fact that you have been a designer of many Singapore stamps, which many people may not know. I don't know whether you've got any examples of that, but you have been successful in that area. And sometimes I wonder whether you are a graphic artist or or artist in the traditional sense, because the stamp art seems to require a different kind of skill, let's say.
I think that I'm an all-rounder. I can do graphics. I did graphics. I studied graphics. Actually, I studied graphics in the called Baharudin Vocation Institute with the graphic design, right? And as a teacher, I had to teach graphics. And my father was also a graphic, I mean, more of commercial art designer. But I think graphic art and fine art, I think there should be no line drawn between. I think many of the artists later on, like those people, artists in the Bauhaus, no? In Germany, Bauhaus, they combine graphic and fine art and industrial art into art itself. So there's no difference. And if it's good that an artist actually can go into, in different areas, I think can widen the scope. They're looking at different kind of art. I think probably Victor, have you any more question? I think, is anybody want to talk about my paintings?
Question. Yeah, we get to that. We still have time.
Okay.
We still have a lot of time, in fact.
Because I got a queue. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a queue of questions? I don't know.
No. I mean, I think your time is okay.
Yeah. The time is it's very okay.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, at least for the audience, how do you get involved in this step? Do you tender for a thing, or were you asked to do these designs or stamps? Was it a tender system?
There were somebody in the art panel, I mean the stamp panel, that recommended me to the panels, to look at my work and then to give me a try, give me a chance to do some stamp design, and then I find that I was suitable, doing stamp design, and that's how I continue with some stamp work. And because I actually the time stamp designing was more of an illustration. You need to illustrate, so I was also a good illustrator, in watercolors and poster colors and so forth. Yeah.
Did they impose a lot of guidelines and specifications and requirements in your stamp designs?
Oh, they are quite free. They give me the team, and had to go and explore, by myself, in any way, any different way, I want to do. Then we submit that to the committee to assess its suitability. Yeah.
Okay. Let me turn now to some aspects of the support and funding for art in Singapore. First of all, I'd like to know whether you feel that living in an urban environment has either been a handicap or been an asset in your art development and your art expression. What do you think that living in an urban, we don't have rural environments here. What is your particular take on it?
Yeah, I think that there's a point that I find that in Singapore we are in an urban environment. Actually, I like nature. So in Singapore now, it's so developed. Many of our natural sceneries, natural geographical environment are all gone, no? And I think it actually puts me in what I call alienated from my source of inspiration. Yeah. Actually, I did my abstract work actually from my inspired from what I experienced in viewing the cliff at the Bukit Batok Natural Park area. Yeah, it was quite a woody place, a lot of woods, and at the time was still a lot very natural. I don't know what's happening now. I hope it's still as good as before. Yeah.
Well, you've been lucky in that sense, as I said, that you had a job as a teacher, so you may not have faced the kind of constraints that budding artists face. So, do you have any comments to make about whether there's sufficient financial support either by private organizations or by government in terms of nurturing artists in Singapore?
I think, as for myself, I think because actually I was an art teacher, I have a steady income, so I'm not worried about my living expenses. So actually, I can deal with art, especially I can go into abstraction, which abstraction is actually not many people could understand. It's not very good in sales. Yeah. So I think many artists are actually surviving not just on the painting, selling painting itself. They had to do some kind of a secondary occupation. So I don't know how the government can help them, but because there are many artists, and I think probably the government can help in a way they can support them, in giving them a lot of space, to do the artwork. Especially artists need a lot of space, especially you want to do something which is more inspiring, big and powerful. So and create something, some projects or whatever thing for artists to work on, to help them in the making a living, not just relying on painting itself. Because painting itself is not that easy to survive on, selling. Yeah, unless you're very established and very well known. I think especially young artists who are just breaking in the scene, I think will be in not a very comfortable position. Yeah.
But in Taiwan, they have the thing of allocating every building has to allocate 1% to 5% of their construction costs to beautifying the building in culture zone, which in a way helps a lot of artists in Taiwan to get artistic projects. I don't know. Do you think that's something that can be done in Singapore? Is there?
I think there's a very good what Taiwan is doing. I think is very, very good to help in a way support the artists that a private organization, when they plan a building, when they do something, they put art into consideration, and that will be very helpful in encouraging artists and giving them a means of living, making a living, and also sort of publicizing and exhibiting their work. And also, I think that in that way, it will also help to inspire more art-loving people to go into this what I call art collection and art activities to promote art. Yeah. I think that will make the art scene more lively, I think. Yeah.
I was very curious reading your CV that you had art in the various museums in China, Germany, Thailand, and South Korea. Were these things that the curators of museums bought directly from you or through your exhibitions? How did this thing come about?
Some they bought from us. Some we went there to do exhibitions, and some we went there to do some workshops. To do some workshop.
Can you be more specific? Don't say somewhere. Where is it? Which ones were workshops? Which ones were exhibitions?
Oh, I think exhibition like in Germany. I think I had exhibition there, and I saw. I mean the Germans they're very supportive of what I had that exhibition there, and many of my work was sold in Germany, right? And my work were exhibited more all abstract work, and then there were some others that at workshops in Thailand, maybe China and so forth. They promote us in a way to do exhibition and do work there. And so we sort of contribute in helping them to set up their museum. Sometimes they have a museum they want to build, or they already built actually a big museum, not a small museum. And they want some collection of work. So they invited us to go and paint and do workshops. And then after that, we sort of help in setting up their art collection over there. Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, you've been successful in that sense in getting your works exhibited overseas. I'd like to turn now to something with regard to the monetary value of art in that sense. Do you feel that there's been too much materialism and monetism in art, let's say in Singapore? Do you think that, or do you think that art is undervalued? What do you think?
I think art comparatively low in Singapore. I think compared, I mean, the prices and thing that we see selling overseas, I think the art value in Singapore is comparatively low. Yeah. So you don't get to hundreds and thousands and millions. Yeah.
Why is that so? Why is that so? We are supposed to be one of the richest countries in the world, and yet why
sadly we don't have a very kind of a very stimulating art scene. We have very, very rich collectors, tycoons who actually buy up your work. Whereas I think in many other countries, why art is so well established, because they have a lot of collectors who buy up the work and actually help the artists in the initial stages of work when they're actually not well known. Yeah, I think in this way, I think we're lacking in this. So it's quite quiet in the art scene compared to what I have witnessed overseas. Yeah.
But do you think that it's also a product of the fact that our local artists have not reached an international standard? You take even Indonesia or Malaysia, they've had artists that have reached a very high level of international appreciation. Even Filipino artists, Vietnamese artists. But you look at all our top artists, none of them actually reached that international standard, and wonder why we have not been, why we haven't produced artists that have had, such international standing that people will want to buy a Singapore artist. We have achieved international standings in many areas. From Singapore Airlines, you name it, we have it. But why in art it doesn't seem to have excelled in that same way?
I think it comes to boil down to the fact that we don't have actually strong art supporters. If there are strong art supporters and people or students who are actually good in art, that they will actually go into art, because many people would think that doing art is a kind of you go into poverty being an artist. So many, even the people who are very good at art, I have taught students who are very good at art, but later on they will not take art as a career. There's some genius in art. But if they take up because of perception, not only themselves, I think parents and so forth, they think doing art is a dead road. So nobody wants to go into it except those people who really the hardcore, who are really interested in art. They were taken to breaking into art, and I think not very good support. I think you won't actually go very far in,
But it's also a question of the talent that art expresses. I mean, art is not mechanical. I mean, you can, and I don't know whether our local artists have been able to, seize on their, or be able to rise to the issue of being very creative and expressive in that sense. And if you don't have that, then you can't really be accepted as something. Different artists. You have Japanese artists like this lady who does pattern designs of the pumpkin and all that.
or the Kusama.
Yeah. She's made an amazing name. Art is very saleable.
Yeah.
But we haven't had anybody that has reached that level, has developed a sort of identity of their own in art. They are, in a way, copying traditions rather than developing a personal, individualistic expression. And that's what all art is about, really. You buy great works because they have an individuality in their expression on the themes that they want to do. So I don't know how do you feel? Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, I think the artist has got to believe in himself. When you're doing art, you have to believe in yourself, because doing art is a kind of self-expression. Not many people won't understand what you do, and the artist had to kind of persevere and go on to doing what he believes in. And as you progress, I think slowly your piece of work, will be slowly be understood. Maybe not now, I think, not like in the past where the artists are actually passed away, then they're being recognized. So I think doing art is not an easy avenue, but for me, I think I persevere in going to abstraction. So I know it's like a kind of a risky direction, right? That don't give me a good kind of reception as many representative artists who paint something that they easily recognize, right? That can actually sell the work. So I think doing art is not an easy. It's not an easy career, not easy profession. So in order to break into the international arena, I think you have to do, and probably you have to do a lot of, not only local support, I think some international supporters who supported you and bring the art into the country and put into the international level. Just like in the past, where many artists, in the early artists, like even with Picasso, Kandinsky, and all that, their work was not recognized in their own country, right? Only like Guggenheim, Solomon Guggenheim brought all the Kandinsky and put into the Solomon Guggenheim Museum. They were not accepted. He bought all up, and then now he becomes so well known. You want to see the best Kandinsky work, you go to America, in New York. It's actually built for his work, and a lot of other abstract work over there.
But that's the whole issue. What I'm trying to get at also is that artists like what you say, Kandinsky, or even Van Gogh, he was not able to sell. He only sold one painting, maybe, but he kept on painting. Something like 250 paintings when he died. And his style was very pronounced. He believed in what he was doing, and now he's a big household name in art. So the question is that, do our artists have the perseverance and the stamina to pursue what they believe in, or are they uh, uh, ephemeral artists that, the minute they don't get very much support or monetary value, they leave art. And I've bought a lot of paintings from young artists, and they are worthless because the artists are no more artists. After 3 years, they've given up art, and I've left in all these works. I try to support young artists, but in the process, I've not been able to, see these artists blossom, as it were, because they have given up on art. So there must be something about whether artists have that same perseverance and that same interest. So when I was at Tresors, for example, there was this young artist who went to one of the Parisian exhibitors and said, would you take my art? And the art, the company told him, well, if you come back in another 20 years, maybe I will. And the point he was trying to say, would you still be doing art in 20 years' time? Because no point you coming here and then after 1-2 years, I can't, as an exhibitor, I can't have a work like that. Yeah. So that's the issue, I think, that is there. You talk about the passion and passion comes with perseverance and the belief in what you want to do. I don't know what are your views on
that? I think the art should be the passion of the artist. No? I think art is my passion. Art is in my blood. No? I can't live without doing art. No? Even at this old age, no, at this age, no, I've been doing art all the while. So I cannot, I do it almost every day. No? And not doing art is like I can't live without it. Yeah. So I think for real artists and many artists, the artists never retire. No? They will do until the last breath. No? I think so. Yeah. So I think that's a real artist will achieve. No? And some of them actually they continue doing the art even they will not recognize it all. No? Until the later stage of their life. No?
Yeah. Okay, I want to now turn to the last segment of our interview, and which deals with your current exhibition at NUSS entitled Journeys. And I mean, there are many things that come to mind when I look at that exhibition. But in your own words, what was the central message or theme that you had in mind when you talked about this issue of journeys?
Okay, this issue of journey, you see, I add a plus there. No? So I find my journey in art is not ordinary. I think it's something extraordinary, because I have actually gone through a lot of self-questioning too, whether I should go into it, or have I gone into something that people will say that I have gone into something that I'm being disadvantaged. No, yeah. But in this exhibition, I show you the various different medium that I do. Some early works and some not so early. It shows you my art development into the representational work, into the abstract work, non-objective, and into something that I really find satisfaction doing it. After doing, I feel as if I have as if it's I feel satisfaction like a catharsis. What do you say? No, I feel so relieved, so happy. That I have expressed myself and so successfully. I look at a piece of work. I really don't get tired when I look at it every day, and it's so valuable to me. That's what I feel.
But given that you admitted that you are a quiet and reticent person, do you feel that your abstract art is an expression of your inner voice, you know? And maybe you could take us through some of your abstract paintings, because a lot of people in Singapore don't really understand abstract art. And that's why I want to concentrate on that in a way, you know. Or like in this piece that we are showing now, what were you trying to convey? What is the title of this painting? And what were you trying to convey in this painting? Well, I like the very bright colors, you know, it really grabs your attention. It's just the opposite of you being the reticent person. Here you're being very loud. You know, so you're manifesting a very different dimension, you know, of your behavior. So what can you take us through this painting, for example? What is it that you were?
Okay, my abstract work is actually, I can say, a conceptual idea.
Yes.
A conceptual idea of equilibrium, balancing.
Yeah.
I did abstract work in the beginning to get a very symmetrical format, right? But in this painting, it's not actually very symmetrical, right? But you can still see that there's a black, like a bridge crossing over to the other side, right? And the other side is like the whole thing is like forming a bridge and forming a door, what kind of Chinese. The black colors is like a Chinese ink, which I use to a kind of element in the Chinese ink painting, which is quite horizontal, oriental, of the black and also the red. The red is very oriental because red is the opposite color for the Chinese, and so this is very closely connected to what I want to express in kind of oriental, in the oriental mood, not just in the Western technique, but expressed in a subtle way. We will have the oriental element inside, you know. Yeah. And there's a lot of lines pointing here and there. They're actually pointing towards keeping an equilibrium, just like the branches of the trees, you know. Yeah. They may go haywire, you look at them, but they're actually trying to keep themselves in equilibrium, balancing one another. So you don't find the tree falling down. If the tree is not able to keep equilibrium, it will tumble, it will fall down. Right? So, and there's a movement all around the whole surface of the painting, shapes and so forth. Yeah. They seem to be moving about. And with the lines and dots and so forth, that I want to express the energy. The energy expressed in the Chinese term, you call it the qi, which I find everything in the universe, whether we are in the house, outside the house, or nature, everything has an energy inside, right? So this is it's actually a lot of oriental infusion ideas inside, besides being looking just a piece of abstract art, black and red, and shapes and colors and dots floating about. And there's some kind of gold leaf pasted almost in the center, right? That is also, gold is something that very precious, right? That also is quite accepted in the Chinese culture, or in the Asian culture, or in the Western culture. Everybody likes gold. They make it. There's a value in it. Yeah. So there's a center of it. I think there's a center of this everything. Actually, this the spirit of everything. So my painting, you look at it, has a lot of story to tell.
Okay, I like to turn now to your abstract paintings that were in the blue and green ones. Not this one. There was another one. There was another more
blue and green.
Was there one where the blue and green one?
This one. This blue.
The two pieces of blue and green. Is this the one?
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is one. Yeah. This is my later one.
Yeah.
Right. I think I term it the time. My title is about time.
Yeah.
I think it looks like there's actually shapes trying to balance with one another, moving around. Right. I'm trying to depict the time, the early times, right, which is quite difficult to understand. I find nowadays, I think time has changed so much. Whether early time or later time, there's an element of the early part which you find some strange shape floating around, and some floating on the blue colors, and a lot of some geometrical thing which is represent the present time, which is more hard-edged and more symmetrical, in the design itself. So this one has my integration of the mystery of time that we are in. Actually, I'm also actually questioning mystery of life. Then I think this one has also the element inside that in a combination of different thoughts in this painting itself. So yeah. So it's not just a blue picture, but a lot of undescribable things. Sometimes I can't express, but I feel that there's something that I can't get the answer. It's rather strange. Yeah.
Well, can you pick one other abstract painting that you feel attached to, or that you feel has great meaning? Which of the other abstract paintings?
I think there's a red one, which yeah, okay. I think there's a lot of white. The side is white. Yeah, white. Yeah. Now this one is also quite oriental. Yeah, oriental. You find that this whole piece of work is actually looking like a Chinese character or a bridge in whatever way you see it. But it has a horizontal bar and a vertical bar. So it's like a yin and yang, right? And the center of it, there's the spirit of everything. So when you look at it, I think you should concentrate on the center, and everything, the bars, the red bars, and the top and bottom are all trying to keep itself in the equilibrium of things, and the shapes all moving inside or juxtaposing, superimposing lines and so forth is also actually what I mean by the energy and the qi, right? And the red color is actually showing the passion, and the auspicious color of the Eastern ideas. Yeah.
Judging from your paintings, there's one painting on the Singapore River and the bridge. Can we have that? Singapore River and the bridge. Yeah, this one. Yeah. I find you have a very cubist sort of slant to many of your earlier paintings. Why is that? You had a very strong cubist representation of many things.
Yeah, I think
where did that emanate from?
Cubist, I think I saw. I mean, the early Singapore artists, Chong Siu Ping, or that they have the paintings. Actually, many of them delve into some kind of semi-cubist style. Yeah. So I was also affected by what I see, and I think cubist appeals to me because, as I would say that when painting itself, whether doing this is more not really realistic, but it's semi kind of thing. But there's element of cubist and the element of myself inside as a very structural person with structural ideas, where even expressed in my abstract work, you can see they're horizontal and verticals. So I think there's a connection, even actually the oil paintings, to my abstract work itself. So I think doing painting is also a self-discovery of what you actually are, what a person actually is. Yeah.
Okay. Your third thing that I see in the exhibition are your figures. You have a figure of a sitar player there and a barber, the two. These are very sort of local scenes here. I like both the barber, which I believe is already so old, isn't it? And the sitar player, and that your control of watercolors is very interesting, and you know, so what is it that has influenced the sort of local scenes that you paint, especially of personalities of people, traits, as it were, that are there? And these were very early, I think.
Yeah, these are the 1980s. But at that time, I think
you've gone over that already.
In Singapore, when I was I was young, I live in a more or less live next to, like, in a village, kampong area, very near to the Malays and Indians and so. And we actually we play together. And I find there's we look at the festival and so forth, and we are quite closely connected. And sitar player and the cultural activities has a lot of very interesting subject matter that I would like to paint. So this is one of the sitar player that I painted, because I like the costume of the lady and the sitar, which is very unusual, and actually I like sitar music too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Radha Krishnan.
Yeah. You know, but do you paint all your figure paintings from first hand, looking at them, or was it partly imaginative? What?
This was taken from a photograph. No? Yeah,
Okay.
So taken photograph. So, and I painted it looking at the photograph in my own way. It's not the actually copy out the photograph, but just sketching out, and then after that I paint with watercolors, with a lot of water, very fluid kind of manner. Yeah.
Now the fourth category in that exhibition is what I call the splash and dash paintings, using your color wash. The other, these paintings.
Okay. Now this painting actually derived from my we call the brush sketches that I do outdoor. And then later on, I actually had an exhibition of just black and white artwork, and it's very calligraphic. I use a Chinese brush to do, and I added color to it. And this series of work that I did, I think there were 100 over that I did last year, where I was confined to in the house during the circuit breaker time, that we cannot go out. So we have to stay in the house, and there's nothing to do, and I was alone. So I have to occupy my time doing this, something simple and something fast. We don't need to have a lot of thinking. And actually can't actually go out to buy a lot of things. So these are very simple media that I can use, and I can paint a lot of them. I felt it actually helped me to go through this phase of circuit breaker phase, where actually it's not easy to pass the time. So I think I'm lucky to I'm able to have my artwork to help me in breaking through this hard time. Going through this hard time, not breaking.
Okay, we have time to deal with some of the questions of the audience.
Yeah.
And I see you may question for Siew Wah. Are there any questions that the audience has that you would like to ask him?
Victor, there are two questions on the chat box.
Oh,
The first one is, could Siew Wah describe a typical day as a professional artist?
okay.
I beg your pardon?
Could you describe a typical day as a professional artist?
A particular
A typical
Particular day.
for a professional artist.
routine.
How's your day spent as a professional artist?
Oh, okay. My days, as an artist, I think you wake up. The first thing you may look at your art that you have done the previous day. You will see a different thing, and then sometimes even before, actually, I take my breakfast, I will start taking my brush and do something about it, and then I forget my breakfast. So I find art is something that I have to do, and I just do it continuously. So from morning I will do. If I start taking my brushes, I find it very difficult to stop, and I may end up not doing it until the evening time. This is my kind of art, my routine of doing art. Yeah. So I don't know about others, but I think, especially when they look at a piece of work, the next day you have a fresh eye. You discover whether you have made a mistake or whether you want to improve or whether everything is done, everything is completed. I think that's the first thing that I look to in the morning, and even evening. Sometimes I put the piece of artwork in my bedroom and look at it and see what I can do about it. Yeah.
Thank you. The second question is, what inspires you to paint nowadays? Is there any special spark or event or moment of epiphany to start you putting brush to paper?
I will have to just depend on my own instinct. I have my own feeling, my own idea, concept. I don't have to depend on what I see. As I doing my artwork, I always, whatever a new artwork or old artwork, you can actually see that I'm trying to express my inner feeling of keeping everything in the equilibrium. So that is what makes me move on to a piece of artwork into another without actually relying on anything in that I observe. Yeah.
If anyone has any questions, can you unmute your microphone and ask the question?
Yeah.
Oh, there's just one more here. Just a comment from Mr. Chong Yet Lan. I love the Singapore River piece. So much details and the overriding green color stands out. Yeah. So are there any questions from anybody? Please just unmute and speak naturally to us.
While we're waiting for that, just like to follow up on what the last question was. What would you see as your future goals in your artistic trajectory, in your artistic journey, so to speak? Do you have any big plans in mind, any particular things that you, bucket list of art that you want to fulfill?
I think what I would want to do at this stage in life, I would just want to have my work in just exhibition of just my abstract work, nothing else. So I think this is my last, probably my last exhibition that I want to do as an artist. But actually, I haven't actually done a really I've done 3 exhibition of my abstract work. Big exhibition. I mean, real solo exhibition, or only just abstract. So I have done quite a lot of this abstract work, and I've kept it for a few years, maybe 10 years or so. So I like to show them to in the public, and then probably that will help people to know I'm actually very concerned about being an abstract artist, not what I call a flash in the pan and do, and then after that you don't do anymore.
I'm curious that while you have artworks in foreign countries, in art museums, why is there no works of yours in our local art museums? Have
Yes,
you not been discovered? Are you there?
I have.
Where?
I have the National Art Gallery in Singapore, or whatever. Last time was a Singapore Art Museum. They have collected my work. I think I have about 18 pieces of artwork. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very good.
From the watercolor all to abstract work. Yeah.
Oh.
I
We
have
would
18
like to
pieces.
see those, man.
Yeah. But yeah, they're not. They seldom exhibit. Look, this work out. That's why I think many people don't realize it. Yeah.
I said I don't know. I don't know about the other viewers, because you don't list it down. You see, you listed all the foreign museums, but you didn't list the Singapore art museums, which
I think they rotate the art pieces. I saw Poh Siew Wah's pieces when I visited the National Art Gallery some time back. So they don't put one artist pieces there. He's an Indonesian, Philippines. So they have to rotate to attract people.
I see.
Yeah. I think they have to actually, I think the art museum in Singapore should actually exhibit more of the artists. They actually have a lot of art collection of local artists, but they are not always put it out to an exhibit. And so that many people don't know much about our local artists. And they don't think, they think, even Victor, you think I don't have any collection in the museum in Singapore. Yeah. I think I have a friend who's a friend from Germany, Richard Stephan. I don't know whether they want to ask me a question. He's a director principal of the Art and Design and Music School in Freiburg, in Germany. Yeah, they are also one of my great supporters of art.
Yeah, just want to say hello to everyone. Hello, Siew Wah. I like very much your abstract work, and I have one picture from you from your abstract, still looking every day in our living room, and I especially find it interesting because it has this kind of oriental touch. The color you use, it's very, very unlike the German duo. These color, it's very different, and for me, it's very kind of exotic. And this is also maybe a problem why it's difficult to organize an exhibition here in Germany for you, because it is abstract. For me, it's wonderful, but it's something very special for Singapore and for Asian culture. And this, you make a wonderful link between Western abstract and Oriental art, using your colors, red, blue, and etc. But I think here in Germany, the artists develop in different directions than at the moment there's another kind of fashion is popular in Germany at the moment. So I don't know. I remember your exhibition in Flensburg in Germany. Also wonderful pictures you took with you to Germany, but I don't know how you were able to sell and so on, and now these paintings were appreciated, and the international market is obviously a very difficult market. Art market itself is difficult, and you have to find somebody who promotes really your work and wants to do it. And I tried to set up exhibition here in Germany for another artist, but it's very, very difficult. For a French artist, friend of ours from south of France, but also it's very difficult. But it's good to see you and see that you're progressing with your work and you still have plans for exhibitions. Wonderful.
Okay.
At the moment, we are a bit restricted in visiting Singapore, as you know, by the Corona crisis. So, and vice versa. Thanks for setting up this thing.
Yeah,
Thank you for your
Renat.
question, for your comment.
Thank you. Yeah, we actually supposed to have met last year. Yeah. So,
Are there any other questions on the floor?
Thank you for your very encouraging comments, Reinhard. Are there any other questions, audience?
I'll just ask one more question to Siew Wah.
yes.
And that is, how would you like to characterize your legacy now?
My legacy, I would want to leave behind, right? To know that abstraction, abstract art is something to be recognized, to be put in a position as well received as what I call the representational art. Because not many people actually go into abstraction in Singapore too. So I think which you find actually quite rare, but I find that there are a lot of abstract artists in overseas that where maybe now abstraction is actually a kind of passe. New artists not doing this kind of thing. Because they're living in a digital age, different age. Art is a child of a different age, child of the era. So I think probably I just want to leave it as that, and just to leave my mark, as one of the abstract artists in Singapore, besides many well-known early abstract artists, where I like Thomas Yeo and so forth. Actually, I like many. They also actually give me inspiration. Thomas Yeo, Goh Beng Kwan, and so forth.
I would just like to say that you are an extremely versatile artist. You've done paintings and you've done stamp design, you've done murals on walls. You've done different mediums, from watercolor to acrylic to oils. It's an amazing that you're an extremely talented, raw talented artist with no formal art education. But at the same time, I must say you are a very underrated and understated artist in Singapore. And I wish more people would know of you and would buy your works and exemplify what you're trying to say in terms of your own inner voice in art, and that is to me a very noble intent. So thank you very much for sharing this conversation with me, and I hope all the people who have been around, have been listening, will also have had the same sense that they're of privilege to be listening to you and your views on art. So I'll leave it to Juliana to close the session. Thank you. Thank you, Siwa.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
All I want to do is just, read out another compliment to Siew Wah to end your evening nicely. In fact, all the displayed pieces tonight on Zoom are really good. Keep painting, Mr. Poh. The Oriental red is so vibrant and so powerful. So congratulations, Siew Wah. I've known him since 1982 because he won prizes in the SIA Singapore in Innovations exhibition that SIA sponsored in 1982. Yeah. So thank you all for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the session. Have a lovely year-end season. Happy Christmas, Happy New Year. And see you next year, and see you in the gallery. Bye.
Thank you, Poh Siew Wah.
Thank you, everybody.
Come. Oh.